Hello, my paper peeps. Welcome to another Flip Through Friday. Today I want to share with you what's in my tickle trunk. And my hopes are that you will find maybe some techniques that I used that will spark some creativity or give you some ideas for your next project. So let's get into the tickle trunk. Okay, this is my tickle trunk. And if you are just joining us, I do a Friday flip through of pretty much all of these. I just started recently. I think we've gotten through 4. But yeah, I want to share with you what's in here. Now, let's see here. This one we've gone through already. I think this one we've gone through. This one we've gone through. This one we've gone through. Okay, you know what? We're going to go through these 2 today. This is another mini scrapbook that I made, gosh, probably about, I would say 5 to 6 years ago. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me just unravel this. This is actually made from cardstock, but the base of the journal or scrapbook are, let me just double check here. I'm going to try to peel it without destroying it. Yeah, you know what? This is for business cards. So I actually took a business card holder and created and actually just covered up the plastic sleeves underneath with cardstock. One of the things I like to do is I like to challenge myself by only purchasing 1 to 2 pages of a 12 by 12 paper line. And I'll purchase maybe 1 to 2 pages of the ephemera, and then I will challenge myself by using just those 1 or 2 pages to create a mini journal or a mini scrapbook. Obviously, I didn't have enough paper, so what I did was I took some cardstock here and I just embossed it. And then I obviously took advantage of any of the ephemera that came with it, but again, 1 page or 1 package of ephemera. And yeah, and here I used the embossing folder as well as some stamps here, some travel stamps. And the stamps, what I did was I first stamped. It's raised here, so I used an embossing glaze or an embossing powder to give it a little bit more elevation or dimension. And I didn't tax myself too much with this one. I just added a little bit of thread around the ephemera. And you can see here, I took some cardstock and just stamped it and then embossed it. So in this case, I might have only purchased 1 sheet of paper, because most of it is really just the brown cardstock. And then obviously complemented it with some matching photo mats here. And what I really like to do is when I have these tags is adding a little bit of thread. And I like to use the floss thread here and just add it to the tags, stick them on. And because, like I said, it's covering a plastic card holder sleeve, then I just snaked it over like that so you can't see the actual thread. There, and then just used all the ephemera where I needed to add more dimension. And that's pretty much it. And then this one, no tags. It was pretty simple. What I could have done is actually slipped tags in here, but it was a mini trip that we took, and so I didn't want to do too much to it. But again, sometimes simple's best. Then you get the project done. And here actually, this was a ribbon from the chocolate that I bought, and they had this beautiful ribbon on the chocolate box, so I used that on this tag here. Now, one of the things I loved is taking, if you find that those ephemeras that are out there, or those chipboard ephemeras, this one, as you can see, it's already cut for you, and I find it's a great way to use as a book closure. You know, using some this is actually leather cord, and I just wrapped it through those holes there. and then wrapped it around the book and used that as an easy closure for my album. And obviously I always have to add a little trinket. And all I did was just punch a hole through this book, and then I must have found this on our travels. And I just threw that on there just to add a little bit more interest to the journal. I'm not always inspired by paper. Sometimes there might be a sale and I find something like this, which is the Love and Lure. I think this is a makeup pouch. And I thought, you know what? I think this would go well with the paper line or the stamp that I had received from a friend. And I thought, you know, why not use this as a mini scrapbook holder? And I have a tendency to do that because I like to keep things in a tickle trunk like this where everything gets thrown in there. It's always nice to keep your albums or your scrapbooks kind of covered up, and it's kind of neat. There's a little bit of an allure there where you're like, ooh, what's in that pouch? So today I'm going to share with you exactly what I created to store in that pouch. I created a couple of things here. This is an actual mini scrapbook journal that is bound by these binding planner discs. And then I just used the punch. I'll put a link to that punch in the description box below. All I did was I took some paper that I liked and I punched them all and stuck them together like this. And then obviously I have some journaling here. I love adding tags. As you can see, if you notice, a lot of my journals will actually have tags because I find it very interactive, and I love my quotes. I love a lot of my Bible quotes, and so I like to put them in my journaling. And one of the things I enjoy doing is adding, you know, these elements that stick out of my scrapbook journals. And here is a leather strip that I added. And then I just added some metal. Sometimes I like to bind my thread with metal wire here. On top of paper, I always like to add some kind of metal embellishments. Here, a little paper clip. Another thing I like to do is using these little knots to tie off my hemp cord or my string or my ribbon. Here's another way to tie off your ribbon, which I think is a great. And I wish I could tell you what kind of wire this is. But let me look that up and I'll put that in the description box below. But do you see how it just keeps its shape once you've kind of added it to the project? Using paper clips, obviously, to add dimension. Always having some area to journal in. And if you come across some ephemera where they have stickers, I love adding stickers to my journals as well. And, you know, instead of stamping or cutting out the paper, use your stickers and add that onto a solid colored cardstock like this. And it's just a very nice way to finish off a tag. Now, one of the things I like to do on top of that is this I would consider a travel journal. Can't bring a lot of stuff with me. So a lot of the time when I'm traveling, I like to journal and then maybe do a little bit of scrapbooking. And in this case, I did this in advance. I had stickers that I just placed on this white cardstock, but then I stamped all the way around it. And then I have this postcard stamp that I used, and I stamped the back side. And again, when I'm on my travels, I just like to write words of encouragement to my friends, and not necessarily send it out when I'm on vacation, but it's just a chance for me to just have some downtime to write. And you don't necessarily have to send them out, but I think even this in itself as a place to write and journal your trip is a great idea. And some of them, I didn't use some stickers. I just stamped a sentiment on there. Again, used some of the stickers that came with the paper line. Cut some of the paper out into stamps here. And if you're interested, sometimes you don't want to send it out like that because, I mean, you want to put, say, this could actually be a journal in itself. And I actually have a paper line that you can actually put multiples of postcards into the mini envelope because I've created so that it actually has some depth to it. So if you wanted to send out, maybe just a mini journal to somebody as a gift, that would be a great thing to give to them. So I'll put a link to that in the description box below. But for now, I really hope you enjoyed this flip through of a couple of my albums. And if you're interested in more of my creations, make sure you check out the playlist that's called Friday Flip Throughs, and it'll go through all the stuff that I've created in this tickle truck. So until we see you in those videos, take care and have a fantastic week. Bye.